Well, hello everybody. Dr. Ricky T here. Hang on here, a little tech moment before I jump in on my Wednesday morning message, if you will. Hang on, I'm going to go over Instagram and go live there. Everything is winding up. There we go. Good. Okay, I think we're live in both if all is well in the world of tech. So happy Wednesday, June 19th, everybody, and happy June 19th. Happy Juneteenth, as we have brilliantly and importantly created in our country after many years. Such an important, I don't want to say holiday, such an important commemorative day that we have now in our country. So here's to Juneteenth Day. Lots of 75 ideas I wanted to talk about this morning, but I'll just kind of go to right out of the gate. I want to celebrate a colleague of mine. A new book just came out yesterday, so a little commercial and a little proud moment of a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. Her name is Sam Bennett. A new book came out, The 15-Minute Method, The Surprisingly Simple Art of Getting It Done. So if you hang out in my world, and many of you do, if you're watching this or you're going to watch this later, this is on the Facebook page of my Bigger Game philosophy and page. Sam is she's a coach, trainer, speaker, author, very much in the same space that I'm in these days. And what she's brilliant at is first of all understanding the mindset of the thing you want to create with your life, and also the tactical of it and the strategy of it. She's really got the strategy, tactical, and mindset spinning plates going really, really well. And what I love about her new book the most, I mean, she walked to the talk of mini soundbite chapters. These books, there's a lot of books these days where it's soundbite chapters. So there's 45, can I say it right? 45 mini little chapters, right? They are 2 to 3 minute reads. Which is that soundbite wisdom concept, which I just love. So I'm not going to go through the whole book, but chapter 11, I don't even say chapters, section 11 or something, and maybe a chapter, the path of resistance, noticing the critical voices, stupid rules, does it hurt, overwhelm and depression, when to quit, talent is irrelevant. That's a fascinating concept. So just naming some of the mini chapters here, and I recommend it highly. Of course, it's on Amazon. It just came out yesterday. I got my copy yesterday. I'm plowing through it. I'm sharing it with my clients. But one of the things that I noticed that it does well, which is the topic I want to speak to today, I named the talk here today, our relationship or your relationship or whatever pronoun you want to use, my relationship with everything creates everything. Now, just I'll broaden that, and I'll give this a broader context here in a second. But think about that for a second. Like your relationship with everything. Now, when we think relationships, we generally think people, right? We think people and neighbors and colleagues and business, all that. We think a person. I have a relationship with a person, of course, right? That's very true. Barbara Bonds, Christy Lund, David Darst. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome. You guys are on the Instagram side of this. So, Sam's book, by the way, activated this in me because she writes in a way that has you get more conscious of what is my relationship with fear? What is my relationship with desire? What is my relationship with fill in the blank? And I don't know when I bumped into this or, trained, did somebody train this in me? I think it doesn't matter where it came from, but I love the concept so much that I'm starting to put it into my own book, right? So there's a second book coming. I wrote a book called Play Your Bigger Game a number of years ago with Hay House. Second book coming. Don't know the timetable. Don't hold me accountable. Getting a book kind of created, as is a whole bigger game unto itself. It takes energy and effort, and you guys get it. But the concept that I want to offer today is this viewpoint, strong viewpoint I have, that my relationship with everything creates everything, right? My relationship with my neighbor, my relationship with my money, my relationship with my, right, fill in the blank, my relationship with food. Recently, I watched the Oprah special, and she did a great 3-hour special about our relationship with our bodies, right? And so, I don't think many people go through life thinking about what is my relationship with fill in the blank. And what I love about this concept is it's both an internal and an external phenomenon. What is my relationship with the things outside of me? What is the relationship with Mother Earth? What is my relationship with my husband? What is my relationship with my friends? And I can do something about it. I can always do something about it. That's true for the inside part of ourselves too. What is my relationship with fear? What is my relationship with worry? What is my relationship with joy? Recently, I spent some time with some dear friends who are very grateful for this, but they're in their elderly years, and they're in this. They have this fabulous relationship with being elderly. You can feel it. They're experiencing it at its fullest. They're not worried about the end. They're not even thinking about it. They're in this because the other thing they have a fabulous relationship with is creativity, because they are constantly creating. So I can belabor this point, I can underline this, but I just invite you to think about today, as you go through your day, as you go through your week, to separate out, instead of just being one with this emotion, just instead of being like, well, I am this, separate it out. What is my relationship with fill in the blank? And all of a sudden, when you ask it that way, this is what happens to me. I'm projecting all over you. That you start to realize I'm at choice with this. I actually have choice to be with this situation or this emotion or this circumstance, right? And I think as coaches and trainers, and many of you that are following, I see David Darst, one of my very first mentors in my life. And I know that Christy Lund, you're in my world as a coach, and Barbara Bonds, and anybody else who's here. You're all in this conversation with helping people realize this as well, right? Is to have the ability to meta view life and step back and go, what is my relationship with? And so, just for fun, if you want to put it in the chat, if you're on Instagram, I'm just having a tech moment. Oh my God. So put it into Instagram. Oh, and now my camera's going fuzzy. Talk about relationship with, I have a bad relationship with tech today. I think it's fixed. Sometimes, by the way, that's a tip, by the way, when the camera goes bad, you kind of make it do an autofocus with your hand, and all of a sudden it fixes itself. There's a tech tip. So you can put in the chat, and Jocelyn, our amazing co-creator of our Good Work in the World, will grab it and drop it into the chat here in StreamYard so I can see. So what is the topic that you want a healthier relationship with? Just drop it in here. Body, mind, whatever it is, just throw it in here, and then we'll just have a little moment and talk about it. So, a little like an interactive moment if something wants to come up, right? Just think about it. Well, think about a situation in your life, and then ask the question, what is my relationship with, right? And, as you're putting it in there or thinking about it or pondering it, many of us inherit the relationship with things that we don't even know we've inherited. Money is a huge one. I did a money class last week for our year-long program called Produce You. Right, Produce You. We have a year-long program, year-long container. I like to call it a container of support and tactical and strategic and mindset, getting people's good work into the world. And we had a money call last week, and many people were chatting about their relationship with money that was not theirs. It was an inherited money consciousness, right? Because money is money's just energy. It's floating around. How do you figure out how to get some? And then, being in the flow of money. We talked all about that. Many of you know that concept. But they also, myself included, realize, wow, I have inherited this relationship, right? And I actually haven't chosen what's the one I want to be in with this, which, by the way, I'm going to get a little Jungian therapist on you, some jargon for a second. So I work with a Jungian therapist, have for 8 years. He's more of a mentor, and he's always, training me on how this works. But the word that some of you might know it is individuation. Individuation. So when you decide, this is the relationship I want to have with, in this case, money, that's individuation from the family system, from the cultural system, from where the world tells me I should be. When you really when you individualize and choose for yourself, this is the relationship I want to have with fill in the blank. And this really speaks to being very conscious. And I have to work on this all the time, like being very careful and conscious of the influence of other people's relationship with things. Right? Like, well, their relationship is this, so I should have it too. Many times we're inspired by that. A good motivational speaker will do that. A good spiritual speaker, right? We hear people. Hopefully you're, listening to what I'm hearing, what I'm saying today, and you're considering my perspective. But we have to be very careful. And I'm such a fan of, rather than buy into my perspective, check it out, bounce off of my perspective, find your own. Rather than you have to align with it, because we need to bounce off of other people's perspectives to find our own truth about what do we believe about something and what is our relationship with something. So back to individuation. Individuation is that remarkable moment of boundaries. This is the relationship I choose to have with fill in the blank, right? I choose this. I want this. This is how I want to live my life. Again, we see people who do this and they're very boundaried. They're not, they're boundaried in a beautiful way, right? Hello, Chris G. Good morning. People who live an individuated, not individual, but they're individual. You feel it. They're clear. They are somewhat consistent. They are responsible with their emotions. They get help. They get support. They know the dance of this thing called life, and they are using the topic of today. They have a pretty healthy relationship with their humanity. Let's put it into that context. So again, topic of the day: what is your relationship with? Right, and I want us to all slow it down and realize. And who am I talking to the most today? Because I woke up this morning in a bit of a fear state, which, by the way, sidebar moment, the unconscious side of life, right? The overnight. Sometimes we wake up in a state, we don't know why we're in it. There's no circumstance that all of a sudden set it off. Usually it's the shadow side of the human experience in the unconscious, the dream state. That's the shadow side. And we wake up, we're sort of anxious, we don't know why. That's that shadow side of self. So leads to the next question around the topic of the day here. What is my relationship with my shadow self? Because I have one. Is it a problem? Is it something I need to look at? Is it something I need to get over? Is it something I need to be proud of? Is it something to just be aware of? Those are all choice points. So I hope this makes sense enough. If you're following and you want to give a thumbs up, or if you have a question, which, by the way, we can open up for questions. Technical. I love supporting people these days with their good work in the world from both an inside and an outside perspective. Let's see, what else do we want to say about this? I think the big skill of this, or the big consciousness of this, is the ability to slow down for a second, stop the action, if you will, stop the reaction. Let's say it that way. So that's even better. Stop the reaction and go, Chris said his relationship with time versus transaction time. Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, Chris. It's like, what is your relationship with work? What is your relationship with time? What a great question. Like, it's such a esoteric it's like the transcendentalists, like, what is our relationship with time? And first of all, they all realized, and we all realize, it's made up, right? But what is my relationship with time? And classic, what I love about that question, Chris, or bringing time into the conversation, is most humans, I'm deciding, I'm not like, I haven't interviewed most humans, but most people that I chat with and dance with and work with, and did I just say dance with? I dance with humans. I talk to them a lot. And I spoke to a room full of 35 people on Saturday again. And there is this relationship with time, and most people feel behind on all the tasks and all the jobs and all the projects. And this is why I love Sam's book. She kind of breaks it down, and she goes, okay, let's have a healthier relationship with getting stuff done. That's the ultimate message of this great book, right? Let's have a healthier relationship with getting things done, the doing part of life. Yeah, David says he keeps bouncing around to find what's true for you in your relationship. He says he keeps bouncing around to find what's true for you in your relationship. You mean me? Does he literally mean me? I'm curious. Yeah. And he's asking me. Yeah. What you mean about people? I guess I'm going to the, Jocelyn will dance in here. Well, I think, David, just to kind of, you and I are really, really good friends, as you know. I have a great relationship with my friend David Darst, which, sidebar, maybe a tiny story. David Darst was the person I met in New York City in 1990. David, you're going to have to remind me. And I met him in a workshop in New York City in a hotel of 800 people. And I had the microphone at one point, asking a question to the workshop leader. And on the break, he came up to me and said, I know a place that you need help. You're going to get help as an actor. There's this organization, right? And David sent me to this organization called Actors Information Project, which is where Henry House, I'm getting into the story too much here, but David, those moments in life where somebody taps you on the shoulder, and this was literally a tap you on the shoulder. They tap you on the shoulder and say, go here. And he just said, go here Monday morning without hesitation. And I did. I just trusted this amazing soul called David Darst. And the rest is history. So truth be told, having David Darst here this morning on Wednesday, June 19th, to listen in on this, I give you full accolades, David Darst, for being the guy and the soul and the voice that send me on the trajectory of the incredible career I have now. So thank you, David Darst. So good enough. I think you're in. I think you all get it. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go over to comments. Yeah. Hang on. I'm just doing a little bit of, David says, hang on. I'm just checking in on comments. Hang on. Hello. Nice to meet you here from Korea. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Yeah. Life coach Hesso. Oh, wow. Nice to have you here. I can see, by the way, tech-wise, not to get too, StreamYard lets me see posts from Facebook. It does not let me see posts from Instagram, and that's where Jocelyn is over there grabbing posts or any questions you have from Instagram and putting them in the chat here inside StreamYard so I can read them. So multiple platforms at the same time. Yay to our technology. So the question I leave you with after all this pontificating is, actually, it's a concept. Just decide for yourself and be more cognizant. Cognizant. Oh my God, I can't even say the word. You guys know the word I mean. Cognizant. I think that's it. To what is the relationship you're having with, and then fill in the blank. And again, I think the most challenging ones are when it's an internal voice or an internal state. I'm just experiencing fear. What do you mean? I don't have a relationship with fear. I'm just experiencing it. Well, actually, you can step back and have a different conversation with it. And then my over the years, my mentors, my therapist, my Jungian therapist, my business coach, my life coach, my friends who know me well enough have given me this advice, is to literally, this is the tactical thing to do, go write a letter to that situation, to that circumstance, and speak in handwritten form, dear fear, dear money, dear worry, whatever the topic is, dear joy, because many of us don't have a great relationship with joy. We just sort of like, we hope for it and then it goes by and we miss it. We don't even notice it. So for many of us, we have a somewhat of a not a healthy, but a wealth of relationship with the shadow side stuff. I think the stretch, I'm just realizing, for me and for many people, the stretch is to actually decide, what is the relationship I want with joy? What is the relationship I want with bliss? What is the relationship I want with creativity? All the quote unquote above the line emotions, which, I don't even like that concept anymore. They're just emotions. It's just a field of emotions. There's no like better or worse. They just are what they are, right? Okay, everybody, there you go. Happy Wednesday. This is a thing I've been doing every Wednesday morning for about 20 to 45 minutes. If I overtalk, it goes longer, or sometimes if I get on a roll. But I hope this is serving, and I'm honored to be in this business these days of, let me just end with my relationship with my work. My relationship with my work as a 65-year-old man is an interesting conversation. I have a lot of people around me who are like, you should be starting to end it, right? And Hesso, you're saying, dear fear, it sounds like a good idea. Yeah, exactly. Have a conversation with fear. Like, talk to it. Dear fear, I know you're there. You will be there. There are days when you're there a lot. There are days when I should take you for coffee. There are days when I should, avoid you. Right? That's consciousness with a relationship. But back to my relationship with work. Just last night or yesterday, somebody was naming for me, in the last third of life, God willing, I'm in the, I got a 30, at least a 30-year run in me. We start to do the math. I'm 65, yada, yada. There's this whole relationship. What do I want to be doing? What do I have to be doing? It's such an interesting time of life. And this person asked me and said, well, it's the great existential question. Who will you be? Who do you want to be? Who will you be without this work? If and then I don't even know what that means. I've been doing this I've been working, by the way, since I was 12. I had a paper route at 12, and that was it. Started at 12, and I've had a job my entire life to 65. I was just going to say 45, 65. So anyway, big existential question. Still love the work I do. I do this thing called Produce You. It's an event. Yeah. Oh, without this work. Yeah, I know. It's an interesting question. It's like, without this work, because I'm not going to get up and just do pickleball, and nothing against pickleball, but that's, most of you who probably hang out with me or in my space, you're a person who says, I have to keep creating, I have to keep impacting, I have to somehow touch people's lives. I'm going to speak until I can't. I'm going to keep writing books until I can't. I don't know. I'm one of those people. And I can't imagine. Yeah, beautifully said, Hesso. I can't not imagine my life without this work till now. I know, right? It's such an amazing. So thank you for doing the work, by the way, Hesso. Okay, everybody. Happy Wednesday. May these words somehow touch your heart and your soul and your mind and activate you to support you, to elevate you to the life you want. And what I know for you is that life is unfolding for good. Just when you just hold that perspective with me, no matter what the circumstances look like, what I know for us is that life is unfolding perfectly. right? Even though it might look challenging, there might be, you look around the wheel of your life, there's challenging circumstances. But if we can all hold this bigger context, this is the spiritual hat for a second, that somehow at some level, this is all unfolding for good in the long run, right? So happy Wednesday, everybody. Unfolding for good. Wow, very interesting perspective. Yeah, I know, right? And so the concept of perspective is, if I choose a perspective, I will live into it. I will create it because I believe that perspective, right? Now that unfolding for good perspective trained in me, have been studying with the transcendentalists for years and into the spiritual space, right? That's a pretty broad stroke perspective that many, you have to be very careful how you say this, because people go, well, let me tell you how my life is going, right? And then, as a coach and a trainer and a speaker and a spiritual person, I come along and go, okay, let's be with the circumstances. Let's be conscious and not do any spiritual blackmail and anything, meaning it's all good, ouch, right? But to have a moment and go, okay, somehow this is unfolding for my highest good, no matter what the circumstances are. Okay, everybody, good enough. What is your relationship with? Yeah, always perspective gives lots of things. That is what perspective we have is very important. Yeah, okay, so you get it. It's like basically this entire chat here this morning has been about your perspectives. What is this perspective you choose to be with? My version of it today is, what is my relationship with? And then be conscious of that. So, all right, everybody, happy Monday, happy Wednesday. If you're in the US, yay to us honoring today. Banks are closed and our stock markets are closed, and yay that we're actually taking a moment to commemorate a very important day in our life that needed to be commemorated. So yay to Juneteenth Day in our country. So, all right, everybody, sending you health, wealth, love, good work. Thank you for doing the good work you do. If you're a coach, trainer, speaker, author, come hang out in my world. If you're on my email list, if you're not, ricktamlin.com. I send out a newsletter every Sunday. People seem to like it. And be in my world, and hopefully these words have touched your heart, your mind, and your soul just a little bit, to activate consciousness just a little bit. So be well, everybody. Bye for now. Okay, I'm going to do a little tech moment here, so I have to go over to right. So there we go. We're ending over here. Good. And then we're going to end here. There we go, everybody. We're ending.